"Why won't you date?" his boss asked. A single dad's answer broke her heart. The day Marcus Reid walked into the boardroom with paint stains on his sleeve and his daughter's crayon drawing folded in his shirt pocket, nobody could have guessed he would become the man who broke the most powerful woman in the building, not with cruelty, but with the quiet, devastating truth of what real love looks like. Marcus was 34 years old, and he carried the weight of the world on shoulders that still somehow managed to stand straight. He had been working at Callaway Enterprises for 2 years, always the first one in, always the last one out, always polite, always professional, and always, without fail, gone by 5:30 on the dot. No exceptions, no excuses, just a brief nod to whoever was left in the office, and then he was out the door like the building was on fire. His boss, Vivienne Callaway, had noticed. Vivienne was 38, brilliant, sharp as cut glass, and completely unused to anyone ignoring her. She hadn't built a company from the ground up by being forgettable. Men had chased her. Colleagues had admired her. And yet Marcus Reid, with his quiet smile and his ink-stained fingers, treated her with nothing more than warm, respectful professionalism, and it was slowly driving her absolutely mad. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the kind of love that changes everything, please like this video, leave a comment below, share it with someone who needs to hear this story, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. You are exactly who this channel was made for. It started on a Tuesday. Vivienne had stayed late reviewing quarterly projections when she noticed Marcus's desk light still on at 5:15. She wandered over, some contract in hand as an excuse, and found him packing up with military precision. Laptop closed, mug rinsed, chair pushed in. "Big plans tonight?" she asked, keeping her voice casual. He smiled, and it was the kind of smile that held something sacred behind it. "Always," he said simply, and left. She asked around quietly. Her assistant Priya told her without hesitation. "Oh, Mr. Reid, he's a single dad. Little girl named Lily. She's 6. His wife passed away 3 years ago. Cancer. He never misses pickup." Vivienne stood very still for a long moment. Then she went back to her office and stared at the city lights for a very long time. Over the following weeks, she found herself paying closer attention. She noticed the way Marcus handled pressure, calm, methodical, never raising his voice. She noticed that he kept a small framed photo on his desk, turned slightly so only he could see it fully. She noticed that on Fridays he sometimes came in with glitter on his jacket, and he never, ever apologized for it. She also noticed that he was completely, utterly unreachable in any personal sense. He was kind to everyone, he was warm to everyone, but there was a boundary around him that was invisible and absolute, and somehow everyone in the office could feel it without being told, everyone except Vivienne. Because Vivienne had never believed in walls she couldn't eventually walk through. She invited him to after-work drinks with the team. He came for 45 minutes, nursed a sparkling water, laughed genuinely at 2 jokes, and left early. She arranged a working dinner. He participated fully, professionally, and was in his car before the appetizers were cleared. She complimented him. He thanked her. She leaned slightly closer than necessary during a presentation review. He leaned slightly back. Not rudely, not coldly, just back, like he hadn't even noticed, like the distance was simply natural. It wasn't until the company's annual charity gala that everything finally broke open. Vivienne had worn a deep blue gown and had spent the evening feeling increasingly aware of Marcus across the room, talking to donors, easy and genuine, the kind of man who made people feel seen without even trying. Near the end of the evening, emboldened by champagne and months of quiet frustration, she pulled him aside onto the terrace overlooking the city. "Marcus," she said, and her voice was steadier than she felt. "I have to ask you something directly, and I hope you'll forgive me for it." He turned to face her, and there was no alarm in his eyes, just that familiar, attentive calm. "Why won't you date?" she asked. "And before you say anything professional, I'm not asking as your boss right now. I'm asking as a person who has watched you for months and genuinely cannot understand it." The city hummed below them. A wind moved through the terrace, lifting the edge of her gown slightly, and Marcus looked out at the lights for a long moment before he looked back at her. "Her name was Sarah," he said quietly. "We met when we were 22. She used to steal the blankets every single night, and every single morning I pretended I didn't notice because I loved watching her sleep." He paused. "She was diagnosed when Lily was 2. She fought for 14 months. The last thing she said to me, the very last thing, was, 'Make sure she knows she was wanted. Every single day. Make sure she never has to wonder.'" Vivienne felt something tighten in her throat. "Lily is 6 now," Marcus continued, his voice still even, still gentle, but carrying the full weight of a man who had walked through fire and come out the other side, not hardened, but refined. "She still reaches for the door when we pull into the driveway, before the car even stops, because she's so excited to show me whatever she drew at school that day. She still asks me to check under the bed, even though she knows nothing's there, because she just wants one more minute before the lights go out. She still needs me to be completely, totally, 100% there." He looked at Vivienne with eyes that were not cold and not closed, just completely honest. "I'm not closed off. I'm not broken. I promised Sarah, and I promised Lily, and some promises are the whole architecture of who you are." Vivienne Calloway, who had negotiated million-dollar contracts without blinking, who had stared down venture capitalists and walked away from bad deals without a second glance, felt tears prick the back of her eyes so fast she almost couldn't stop them. "I'm not saying never," Marcus added softly. "I'm saying not yet, and not casually. Lily deserves to watch me choose carefully. She deserves to see what it looks like when someone honors a decision." He gave her that same quiet smile. "You're remarkable, Vivienne. Genuinely, this isn't about you." She nodded once, not trusting her voice fully. He said goodnight and walked back inside, and she stood on that terrace alone for a long time, not feeling rejected, but feeling something far stranger and more important. She felt rearranged, like something she had believed about strength and success and getting what you want had been gently, permanently turned around. If this story moved you, if Marcus's love for Lily touched something in your heart, or Sarah's memory brought tears to your eyes, please comment below the one word that describes how you're feeling right now. Just one word. Let us read every single one. In the months that followed, something shifted between them, not into romance, but into something rarer, genuine mutual respect. Vivienne became the kind of boss who made sure meetings never ran past 5:15. She started keeping a small plant on her desk, something living, something that needed tending, and sometimes on Friday mornings, when Marcus came in with glitter on his jacket, she smiled like she understood an entire language she hadn't spoken before. Because he had taught her, without meaning to, that the most powerful thing a person can do is love someone completely, even when the world offers them every reason not to. Especially then,